Happy Monday, friends. So, my guest this week is the incredible Johnny Rogers. We had a great time getting to know one another. We had never had a longer conversation than maybe 5 minutes prior to us meeting the day that we recorded this. One of my buddies was actually hanging out, so he's just in the background, and we talked to him for a little bit. Wow, I'm really tired. You can tell by the bags under my eyes. Look at that. Wow. But without further ado, let's jump right in. You can find him on Instagram at @thejohnny_rogers. And we have an email as well, outsidetheparty@gmail.com. If you have any interesting stories or have anything that resonates with you in the podcast, let me know. I want to know what's going well, what I need to do better. So if you have any feedback, feel free to reach out there. And as always, follow me on Instagram at Nick Fernandes Comedy. All right. Thanks so much. And let's jump into episode 9 with Johnny Rogers. And the fun part is my buddy's working on a paper, and he was just like, yeah, I'll come hang out. So we got an audience.
Nice.
Come on in.
Hey man.
All right, grab a seat.
This will help you with your paper.
Yeah,
well,
okay, I was also
so the challenge that we were discussing earlier was that his challenge is like he's gonna try and not pay attention, and then our challenge is try to say stuff so engaging that he has to pay attention. That's your water right there too.
Oh, thanks, man.
All right, well, here it is. I clicked record before I even came downstairs,
Nice.
so we're gonna get right into it. Let's chat.
Cool.
Let's chat.
We streaming live on Omegle or something?
That's actually Chatterbait. It's Chatterbait. I'm more of an old school guy like that.
You got Louis C.K. coming on the way or something?
Oh, I'm actually going to see him tomorrow. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. For his comedic reasons, not others.
for
just
sure.
to be clear. To be
Not
clear.
for his jerking off skills.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I'm inspired. Can you imagine just like,
Yeah.
that's the thing I'm most fond about him, is that is his ability to do that. Yeah. All right.
Just tell me
So,
if I'm
Johnny.
that thing's on, you said?
Yeah.
Just let me know if I'm not in frame or
Well,
if
we'll
it
take
matters,
a. Well, let me just make sure so that we, we're
I'm
not
leaner.
missing.
I like
There we are.
hang it back. Oh,
There we
nice.
are. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, nice like wide view,
Yeah,
fisheye lens or whatever.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, you were asking how I am. I'm great. Last night did Absolute Kingston, and it was awesome, man.
The
It was
best,
awesome. It was a great. It's a
Yeah.
great club, and I had like one of the probably my best set like yet, like because. It's the best set because I've done like clubs before where there's been like full audiences.
Yeah.
And like I've had good sets, but like there was always like a joke that like didn't land, and then sort of like there was a dip at some point. But this one, it was just like every single joke I did, it was just like it either went great or phenomenal.
Yeah, you get bigger pops.
Oh
in that
my
room.
gosh.
I think it's
Oh
because
my
it's
gosh.
smaller than the other the Absolute in Toronto is like much bigger, obviously,
Yeah.
than that one.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of helps it. That kind of like smaller.
Yeah, I mean, like
intimacy
there was
of the
probably
crowd,
like 80 people or something in
Yeah.
there, and it was
which is crazy
yeah.
for that size of room.
Yeah, and it
Like,
was just it was an awesome set, and the best part was the headliner was Trix, and that was my
he's-
first. I had never heard of him or seen his stuff, and then like I got to like the first time meeting him, I was like, oh, we're sharing a stage together, and then you like Google, it's like, oh, this guy's real. Like, this guy's. It's like, wow, I should not be at that stage. So, and the best part is like I went 5th, so it was me, and then the middle,
Yeah.
and then the headliner, right, and then Jesse Singh was middling.
Okay.
And then so the best part was one of my bits, Trix called back 3 times during
Nice.
the set. And then it was just like every time I was like, I messaged him afterwards, I was like, I'm giggling like a kid on Christmas. Like, just like he's like, he said my thing. Like, that was the thing I said, no, he's saying it.
I don't know if I should say. I feel like it's pretty public knowledge, but how long have you been doing comedy?
A year, coming up on a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I love Trix. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Trix is an amazing pro comic. But there was like something that happened with him. This is even before my time. This is like second, third
Yeah.
hand stories.
First time hearing about him was yesterday,
people.
so let's preface this. I'm not sure where the story's going.
So, it's bad. So apparently, according to like some other comics who have been in the scene and people who had it happen to them directly, He was telling comics that he would buy them an Xbox when the Xbox first came out.
Yeah.
If they like sent him photos of their feet or something. They called it like Footgate or like Xbox Gate. And it was like this weird like fetish thing. I think. Yeah, legit.
Of all the ways I thought that story was gonna end,
I still think about
that wasn't in my top 80. Like,
I'd be like, sure, all right. I don't know. I don't give a shit. Xbox took a $300 console at the time.
I was like, my only question would be like, do I have to shave my toes? Like, 'cause that might be prickly. Like afterwards,
he gets too picky. Wants to paint your toenails and shit.
So okay, next time you gotta get a pedicure.
You just gotta paint my name across your toenails.
All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. The name it's called Outside the Party, and the premise of it is just that I interview people about what type of kids they were during like their formative years, and because a lot of the personality traits I identify myself that I'm thankful for are a product of the things that I didn't enjoy at the time. Right?
Okay.
You know,
100%.
You know, comedy and being a performer is usually a trauma response of some sort, or like from some sort of hardship. And so I just like to talk to people about that because it's interesting. You can get real at times, you can get funny at times, and then we bring it all together at the end. And my favorite part about it is that like it's an excuse to ask questions that's like you really can't ask in like small talk when we chat for like 10 or 15 minutes outside of a show. Like you can't get it deep like this. So like the people I've had on. We've become closer friends like afterward.
I found
like,
that when I did a podcast a couple of years ago now, and I just stopped doing it just because the editing for me was just like too much extra stuff on my plate. But I really found that too, like just having random comics come on podcasts. I became
so
really
lazy with my editing. I record an intro and then I do a fade transition and then I might cut in a couple photos if it makes sense to like to the story that we're talking about.
Okay.
And then what I'm doing now is that I'm cutting the ones that I've already recorded into the clips to put on my Instagram.
Oh, nice.
And so that's a lot of fucking work because I'm putting captions on it because a lot of people don't listen with audio and then
that's a huge
so that's like you know 4-minute clip takes you like an hour and something.
If I feel you, man. I've been editing stuff nonstop and it's like.
But you know it's a good thing and it's getting. I've already recognized that I'm getting better as a host as a result of it because I'm listening critically to what I'm doing on the podcast. So now I'm more conscious. Stop interrupting people. You know, stop saying and then all these other things that. You don't know you're doing them, and then as soon as you recognize it, you're just like, I hate myself.
Yeah, dude, I had such a problem like interrupting people, and I still do. It's not like I don't.
You're a YouTube host, right?
Yeah. So, but like that is just.
Sorry,
me.
my guest this week is Johnny Rogers. Why don't you take a couple minutes to like give your little spiel that you usually give? It's like I do this, this,
like
and this,
an elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I work as a YouTube host for. A couple different channels. One is Top 10 Nerd, Top 10 Gaming, and Inform Overload.
Okay.
They had already built their following when I had come on to it, so I was pretty lucky and pretty fortunate in that sense to be able to join this kind of like Inform Overload. I think they have like 1.3 million subscribers.
Jesus.
And like
I have 7.
It's well, I mean, man, all I have to do is I'll just share this once it's up, and people. Will hopefully like come over because that's the way I've seen it work so far is this kind of like nice trickle down effect.
Well, and the good thing is like I have I guess I have a library so far because there's seven out, right? So like
great.
if people like vibe with it,
go
ahead, binge, right?
That's the best thing to do. Yeah. 100%. Have something, a backlog of something.
This is fun because it's basically it's an endeavor of you just have to do stuff for the love of the game at the beginning, right? Same with stand up and doing this. It's like I'm just doing this because. I'm just focusing on like not the number of listeners or anything like that. Just get better, make good stuff that you would enjoy to listen to, and then just
100%.
Be confident that people will recognize that.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's what all of us are trying to do, right? Is just pump as much content out as possible. It's tiring at times. Sometimes I just want to move to a shack in the middle of the woods and just do fucking nothing.
I go through spells of. Like enjoying mostly my beef is with like social media. It's like sometimes I go through phases of like I enjoy it and then it's like I hate that I have to do this and then I enjoy it. Like because now it's just the business. You have to, if you want to be successful at what we're trying to do, you have to create content, you have to build a following, you have to be engaging, and you have to be consistent with things.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part, because I'm a narcissist, but I'm not like, I don't think that people need to know about my life, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times I'm like, I don't really care what you're posting, so like, why should you care about my stuff? But at the same time, it's like, I like telling jokes, and I want people to know that I'm funny, and then how do you do that without telling them? And so it was a weird catch-22 of trying to balance the two things, and then you're just your brain explodes because you can't reconcile the two.
Dude, preaching to the choir
here. Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, that's
100%.
basically the rundown of like what I do. I mean, I only do that a couple days a week now. Otherwise I do.
So how does that work? They have like the topic of the video. You come in, are you reading prompter, or do you help break up
prompter.
Copy? Yeah.
So like they have a whole system where they give us like trending titles, and then you basically work your way back from the title. So it might be like, I don't know, I can't say one that's not out yet. Anything like, say if it's for
Far Cry or something.
Yeah. Like if it's news on that, then I have to do all the research
Apex
for it.
Season 2.
Yeah, script it, and then just go upstairs and read it from a teleprompter. They have a nice studio all set up, green screen, all that jazz. Guy waiting right there to film you and everything, like camera operator. And then on top of that, they have editors that you just pass it off to, and they do all the editing. And it's uploaded on them too. Man. So it's a great system, and it works really well. Kind of shows me like what it really did was show me the potential that YouTube has for like being a career. Like this guy.
You see the machines. You see the inner workings, right?
Yeah, you see like that actual production value is being put into these YouTube channels now. Right. And now, like I was talking to my girlfriend about this, like I don't know if you remember like YouTubers like Kev Jumba or like all these early
No,
people.
I guess the only early YouTubers that I'm like I consistently follow is like GMM. Like I love Rhett and Link, like because it's silliness.
Yeah.
And that's like that's what I need in my day sometimes, because a lot of like content that's out there, like it's very serious. It's like and like that's like when I first started comedy, I thought I wanted to be like edgy and like do weird dark jokes.
Yeah,
but now that I'm doing it, I think I'm coming to realize that like even if I'm talking about a serious topic, the way my sense of humor works is like, let's make it silly.
Yeah.
Right afterwards, right? Like I just showed him the set I did last night. It's like that last joke I did about gentlemen. It's like it's like a serious topic, and then it's just the punchline to it is just, and what I'm talking about is just silliness, right? And then you're laughing because it's ridiculous what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And then that's like what. And that's what I want, because it just lets you shut your brain off. It's like, let's just be fun and silly and childlike and all of that.
Dude, I
stuff,
love
man.
just silly jokes are like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Because there's no like controversy really in like silly jokes. Like I never wanted to like deal with a heckler, but like my way of I've dealt with hecklers before and it's been fine, but like my whole thing when I was writing jokes is like, I just want you to like relax and laugh. I don't want you to be like, I don't want to invoke rage in anyone. And I get that there's a necessary market for that kind of comedy, like, you know, speaking truth to power.
You gotta
sure.
I think the only way you can be successful or sustainable is if what you're doing is natural to you.
Yeah, for
sure.
Right?
Like that's not.
Yeah.
That's not my natural thing. My natural thing is to make silly inside jokes with my friends, so that when I say like, if you're an individual and you're wearing pantalones, he giggles. Like it doesn't mean anything, but he's in the back, he's giggling because he knows that like it's so ridiculous what we're talking about. Yeah. There's and like I'd love to give you context about why he's giggling at that.
Don't even need it.
There is none.
I think you should hear though. This is like your Jamie. He's not even doing it. He's just working on a paper.
Young J-Man. Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
It's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it's just, like silliness is what you want. But going back to the whole YouTube thing, so what do you find is that, like, that's like a dream job for people, right? Like people would love, like, I think there's millions of people that they would love if that was their job, like the YouTube hosts. So I'd love to know, like, what are the great parts? and then what are the parts that like no one knows that are frustrating?
I was just gonna say, there's days where it's just like.
Let's start good and then let's go bad because then I think that could lead into something.
Good things by far. Like definitely as a comedian, the exposure that you're getting on a continual basis on all these videos is good. Like it's not your content, but you are being a presence on YouTube and like getting this kind of community that they've fostered.
And also castability because you've shown that you can say other people's words.
Yeah.
Convincingly.
Well, they're my words.
Well, right? I mean, but there's probably some sort of collaboration with other people.
Yeah, there's like sponsorships. Yeah. Like today, I had to do a sponsorship for this mobile game, like Raid Shadow Legends. So we just like they send us pages of like what we need to say and all that jazz. And like that stuff is like it's cool, but it can be frustrating because like you try to do it in your voice and then they'll send you back edits and it just like eats up your time.
I feel like a lot of their copy has got to be almost cartoonish.
It's pretty ridiculous. It's
the new game from blah blah blah.
I try not to do that kind of shit, but like they'll have certain sentences.
I just feel like there would be a lot of like bolding, exclamation points in places. It's like, you want an inflection on the and?
They use epic, like, a lot, and I'm like, nobody fucking says epic anymore, man. Like,
doesn't that just link to Fortnite now?
You gotta chill. Like, yeah, exactly.
Epic Games?
They took epic from everybody. You can't say that shit anymore. So there's that kind of stuff. I love how I started good and then just immediately bled into the bad.
Yeah. No, but that was the question I asked. Like there's good bad sides.
There's really cool parts. Like it's a great work environment. Like I'm not scrubbing toilets or cleaning floors or like serving shitheads.
Yeah.
Cool people that you work with. They're all like trying to be actors or they're trying to get into the entertainment business in some form.
It's gotta be great networking.
Yeah, so it's perfect networking. You get invited to cool parties. Like I went to the YouTube space a couple times. I got to go to. I got to be like get press passes at things like Comic-Con and like the gaming conferences and
that's dope.
Just shit like that. And just kind of like no real job. They just kind of like send you there to do stories on Instagram and just talk to people. And yeah, so that stuff is really cool. The hard thing is like the way YouTube works is like you need to pump out like content, right? Mm-hmm. So in order to keep this machine going that keeps me getting paid, I need to be putting out at least 2 or 3 videos a day.
Wow.
2 or 3 videos a day. So
what's the length on these?
8 to 10 minutes. Sometimes more than that.
Okay. And how much prep work goes? Say like for per minute of content.
So they're all mostly top 10 lists.
Okay.
So a top 10 list after research and scripting can take you anywhere between 2.5 hours to 3.5 hours, depending on how much knowledge I already have on the topic.
Okay.
If it's like an obscure comic book thing that they're like, we need to have a video about this, then it will take me longer.
Yeah, tell us about Shao Kahn.
Random shit. And I have to act like I've been reading this my whole life and I already know all these. You're like, you remember in issue number blah, blah, blah. That kind of fakeness to it kind of bothers me sometimes, but I'm like, hey, it's the job. Like, you just kind of... the guy working at Starbucks doesn't want to be happy serving coffee, but he's there doing it, right? So
definitely.
That's kind of it's good and bad. Like
so, for per video, so you're saying 2.5 hours, and you're saying 2 or 3 a day. So, but like you're saying, I think you said earlier that you work 2 days a week. So
we're like 3 days a week.
Okay,
now.
And then so you're producing like I guess in a week, how many videos you're producing, and then how much get released?
All of them get released.
Get released.
Yeah,
what's the turnaround time? Like daily,
daily. So they're put it depends on the channel, but Inform Overload does 3 videos a day. Top 10 Nerd does about 3 videos. Yeah, they all do about roughly 3 videos a day. But it really depends. Like some days are higher traction than others. Like we just had a video blow up on we call it IO. I'll just say IO now for short. We had a video blow up on IO, so they had to do a follow-up story for that just to kind of feed off of the views from that one.
Right. Just to have the up next lead in.
Yeah, they realized we're trending on this video, so if we do another one, it'll just be the next trending. It's better to be first and second place.
How many guys do they have doing analytics there?
It's like 2 or 3 people.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it's not.
Talk to them.
It's not like they're spending a lot of time on it. There's there's a lot of programs I can tell you like off the podcast. Programs that you can use to just because I don't want to divulge company information. But there's free programs that you can use to help you with that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
Especially when it comes to YouTube.
Yeah.
So a lot of the editors use that to kind of figure out like what to tag the videos with and what to get it trending on. But yeah, like anything else, there's some good, there's some bad to it. Yeah, not everything is all sunshine and roses.
Well, that's it, right? And the funny thing is, like, as soon as you get something that you want, like as soon as you get it, you got maybe an hour of elation, and then you start thinking about the negatives, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just the way humans are.
It just hits you sometimes, and like at the beginning, I was psyched, like out of my mind psyched, because right before I got that job, I was like at the lowest I'd ever been.
Right.
Like the lowest I had just quit a job to go work somewhere else, and that place didn't really turn out, and then so I ended up quitting there. And then I just literally had no job. Like I felt like such a loser. I was just like waking up every day at noon, had zero like job prospects, and then just happened to stumble upon this thing. So to get this opportunity, I was like really more than grateful for it and willing to do anything. Like in the beginning, man, I was like doing crazy amounts of videos. Like when I worked for just IO and Top 10 Nerd without Top 10 Gaming, I might have been doing like, I think one day I did 8 videos in a day.
Wow.
Just because I got so good at like reading a news story and then just being able to do a quick turnaround on like a YouTube style version of this like article, like catered to what their audience kind of likes in this kind of comedic way. So I could pump up those videos in like 45 minutes and then just be able to go film it and go do another one, go film it, go do another one, like. And then they'd be good like all weekend. They'd have videos for the whole weekend, and I could do that in like 2 days. But I was also there Monday to Friday, like 40 hours a week. So just in that mentality.
What's the difference between audiences across those 3 platforms? I guess the gaming one's obvious, but the other two.
The gaming one is a cesspool. It is like the comment section is ridiculous. I feel like their demographic is like 10 to 15. So like it's just kids like just shit talking each other.
The original incels.
Yeah. The OG incels. They're all in the gaming content.
Yeah, 15-year-olds.
It's like it's crazy. And then like Top 10 Nerd, they're very specific. So like if I mispronounce a name, they get really mad at that, and they like always correcting me in the comments. I try not to read any of the stuff.
Right.
But IO by far is like the nicest. Like I haven't been on any of their videos because I've been focusing on nerd and gaming. But IO, they've been like asking where I was, and like I just did a video for them today. But it's the IO by far like some of the best audiences. They have their own weird like fandom with the hosts too. They call us the potatoes. Like it's weird shit that's like specific, but I'm like I kind of like it because it kind of brands a community. You know what I mean? Like when they have their like own inside jokes. That's kind of cool to me, even if it's like weird at first.
Yes.
Yes. Going back to like when I first started though, there was one day where they had me come in on a Saturday, and I literally got to do 8 hours of just playing like Call of Duty when it came out. Just live streaming Call of Duty and like just playing this game, just talking to people on there, and just like going through. And it was like brutal because it was on PC. I'm a console gamer. But they didn't give a shit. They were just like happy that we were live streaming, and it was like the coolest shit ever.
That's the interesting thing is that with more technology, it's becoming more and more apparent, like more than ever, that what people are starving for is just connection.
Oh yeah.
Right? And if they don't have that in their everyday life, that's why
they're gonna seek it out.
Yeah, you watch live streamers. You watch like I watch a couple of streamers like that do like video games because it's just like entertaining. And quite honestly, that a lot of the times when I sit down to write jokes, I just throw that on in the background. Just good background noise. The guys playing Apex Legends, and then like every so often it gets to a gunfight, you tune in, and then the rest of the time you just like you're trying to think about a joke. You could get in your own head. You could slip out of time and space, and then you come back and you feel like you know the guy, right? Yeah. It's like our version of radio. Now,
it's weird
but
when
you can really curate who you listen to.
Yeah, you get to decide. That's the great thing about the internet.
You're your own network, right? Yeah. Like we're all NBC now. 100%. We get to curate which shows that we like put onto our roster, and then
it's weird though when you meet people in real life, like fans of the show. Yeah. Kind of freaks you out.
How often does that happen for you?
It hasn't happened to me. It only happened to me once in Toronto at like one of the at Comic-Con.
Okay.
I had these like they were like kids and like they were like maybe like 10 and 11 and like they were just like losing their mind and I was it freaks you out because I just look at it as a job, you know? Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see like what happens when this audience that I've been like performing for on these channels like gets older. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause I feel like, you know, I'm not saying I'm Dane Cook or anything, but like with Dane when he started like MySpace, and started being on there, it was
it's
all
like lore now.
It was young people though, like he was talking to, and then when they went to college. Dane had gotten better at comedy. They were a little bit older, and now he's like brought in with him like all of these people that can actually go to comedy shows.
And the thing is that before he blew up, how he blew up is that he was spending like 7 or 8 hours a day on MySpace.
Yeah.
Just communicating with chatting with fans, like creating that connection.
And I think about that all the time.
You know how his album, like one of his first albums, got so big is that
Which one?
Oh God, I can't remember what the first one was.
Or?
I can't. Whatever for his first or second albums. Got so big because he told people, his fans on MySpace, to go to like CD stores, and like not just buy them, but take all of the CDs and put them at the front of the store.
Oh,
like
nice.
rearrange the store. Like so he had like guerrilla marketing and he sent them out and they rearranged and like he like bring them to the front of stacks, embed them in where you put with Eminem, right? Like just like put them like with the hot things and then people would be like, what is this? And then like and then that's why he went like platinum, like
because any comedy section in any music store, it's like at the back, like in its own little area.
And now does it even exist? I don't know.
Well, I go to my girlfriend bought me like a record player, and I love like going looking through record stores.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing to do is try to find the comedy section, and it's hilarious because like in some record stores it's literally like in a cardboard box like shoved underneath like
clearance section, mostly Cosby records.
A lot of Cosby records. A lot of Cosby records. I had a few of them and I was like, why do I need to keep these? Like I'm just gonna like toss this shit. I bought it for $1.
Yeah.
Sad, but like
zippity zop.
biggest serial rapist of all time. You know
that's what they're saying, right? Like
I mean,
numbers
don't lie.
Well, he used to be the GOAT. Now he's the GOAT.
Now he's the GOAT. Wow. Now he's the true GOAT.
See, I feel dirty saying that joke. Even though it's silly, but still, it should make me go
silly or joking.
Slightly uncomfortable. So where'd you grow up?
Do you know where Brockville is?
I just drove past it yesterday. Well, I went to Kingston, or is it?
It's past Kingston.
Okay, no, so then I might be Dunville.
Yeah, a lot of people confuse it with Belleville.
Yeah, it could
Makes
be that.
Sense. Yeah. Belleville's way fucking bigger than Brockville. Brockville's like 22,000 people, I think, which sounds substantial, but it's not at all. No. Everyone really knows each other, which is annoying.
Well, you probably have like at the very most like 3 degrees of separation with that amount of people. Like if you don't know someone, you know someone that you know their parents or you know their cousin. Like there's no way that you don't. There's no.
You can figure it out.
It's gotta be hard dating there, right?
No, dating was fine actually. I remember.
I just mean in the relation sense.
There's no, I never had any. I heard stories about people, kissing their cousin at a party, and they're like, "Oh fuck!" Like, I didn't realize
it was dark.
Family.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's more story than anything else.
Yeah. Fable, right?
But like, for a small
legends,
town, I was able to, when I was like young and like 21 or whatever, I was dating 2 girls at the same time, and I just like.
Wow.
And that was when I gave 0 fucks. Obviously, it was such a small town. It's like clearly they're gonna figure it out. Yeah. But it makes you more honest to just tell them. You know what I mean? Instead of like, hey, I'm gonna see other people, and they're like, all right. I guess it won't be weird then when we run into each other at the movie theater. Yeah. You kind of just gotta be honest, I guess. There's some good.
Like, there's got to be one high school there, or maybe 2.
There's a couple. Yeah. So there's
like a Protestant or Catholic.
There's a Catholic school, and then there's like what's called a AAA school, which is like just bigger, more population. They're different for sports and all that stuff. I went to like the AA, kind of smaller school.
Yeah.
And I think there was one French school. So there's like 4 high schools.
Right.
That's about it. There was one called Renville Christian College, and it was in this like kind of Hogwarts style castle, like very huge, like very crazy. But they got busted because they were doing shit to kids in the basement, and that whole place is just empty now. It's just sitting there, waiting to be filmed in. I guess I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Look it up. GCC.
Yeah. Well, they're on brand.
Yeah.
Talking marketing, you know.
Yeah.
You just you want to be
Catholic.
You want to be consistent with your message.
Yeah. You don't want to get people confused.
God is great, but he ignores things, you know.
But we will beat you in a basement.
Yes,
like,
yes. And then St. Mike's was like, we're taking that?
Yeah.
Actually, no, that was the kids doing it to other kids. Never mind. But that's...
Along the same lines.
But were you popular? Like in school? Like what type of
popular? I grew up kind of like middle class, but in a poor neighborhood.
All right.
So like a lot of my neighbors.
Big house in a smaller house neighborhood or that type of thing.
They were like largely all the same. We just had like more shit.
Yeah.
Like, all the houses are the same, but we had a trailer and a basketball net and a trampoline, and my dad built me a treehouse and like all this. You know what I mean? Like we had resources, but the area that we were in like really sucked. Like there is just like it didn't suck, but it sucks in terms of like when you go to high school and you see like how these other kids are living, then you're kind of like, oh damn. Like,
you don't know where you're at until you see the measuring stick. Right?
Oh, I remember going to this kid Colin's house and we go. And they lived on the on the river, and I was like, "This is crazy." And I came up his driveway, and there was like 3 houses at the top of the driveway. Yeah. I was like, "Which one is yours?" And he's like, "Oh, that's my nanny's house. This is my not nanny like my grandma, like a nanny for the family has her own house. It's bigger than my own house." And I was like, "God damn it!" And I was like, "What do your parents own the color red?" Like I was just blown away. Like what the fuck? Like how does this happen? And he's like, "They're architects." And I was like, "Jesus Christ!"
Wow.
But like a lot of my neighborhood was like immigrant families, like some of my best friends, like I consider them family. They came here from Honduras and they lived in this house. I had people from Poland down the street. Like it was a cool mix, half Italian, half Chinese family, like a couple doors down. Like I lived in like probably the most diverse part of Brockville because the rest of it was just white.
You're saying a lot of races that I was like, in Brockville?
Yeah, in Brockville, it's just only on that. It was only on that one street, which is interesting, but
that's funny.
I think it was good. I think it was good for me.
Well, it's good. Yeah, like it gives you more understanding of the world. Like, it gets to the point that where you experience enough life that, or like if you're lucky when you get to experience a lot of like facets of life early because it gives you a better understanding just of other people. Yeah. Like I got to understand just life in general when I was really young because just so happens that like my grandparents were older like when they had my mom, right? So then everyone in their cohort, like when I was 7-ish, just started dropping like flies. Like so there was like a couple like there I think for 2 or 3 years there was probably like a funeral every like month and a half, right? And it got to the point that where we'd go to a funeral home and I'd be like, where's the cafe? Let's go get some coffee. There's some hot chocolate here, right? I was like, yeah, all right, cold body in there. You gotta go by. You gotta say a prayer, and then let's go get some donuts. Like what are they? I would walk into the cafe. And it's like, what's Bernardo got today? Bernardo Funeral Home, not Paul Bernardo.
Sponsor the podcast now.
Proud sponsor of Outside the Party. If you want to be outside the party, but 6 feet under, Bernardo Funeral Home. The weirdest promo ever.
Yeah. They're like, please don't use our name again.
Yes.
End up in an article.
But it's
How old were you when all that you said?
Yeah, I don't know, probably around 6 up until I was 10 or so.
Damn.
It was a lot because my family is on the Italian side is very, very close, like with our extended family. So like when we have usually like my birthday party, even at my like I'm an adult now, but like we still have birthday parties for me because my birthday is around Christmas, and then so we use my birthday party as like a family visit for all of the extended family.
Nice.
So the like the second cousins that you wouldn't get to see on Christmas because everyone's going to their in-laws.
Yeah.
Like my birthday party was generally in and around that time of year, and then so you just get to like we would have like 45 or 50 people in the house just because and most of them are related. Yeah. And except for like 10 of them who are like, because I invite my friends and then they have a great time. They eat my food. Right? Nice. Good times, right?
Hey, what can do? I like one of my best friends growing up was Greek, and I really got to see that whole like same. It's very similar kind of thing. I think where like any like holiday or gathering.
Yeah, everything's big. Everything's big and a lot of food.
They got a spit with a pig on it, and they're just roasting it. I'm like, this is amazing.
I went to we went to this dinner party once, and the family, the white family, and we went there, and then it was like me and my parents and my sister, and then them and their 2 kids who were much younger, right? Mm-hmm. And at the time I was probably 14 or 15, and we sat down and we were about to eat dinner, and there's 8 of us, right? And then the kids were young enough that they were eating like separate food, right?
Yeah.
But we sat down, and there was so there's 6 of us that are eating the adult food, and they had in the container on the table there were 7 chicken breasts, and like I saw this and I was like, I've never seen this before, because of my family, okay, we got 20 people coming over. All right, so we need enough food that would normally feed 45.
Yeah.
I've had birthday parties like where we have food and we have food and my dad's just like, I don't think we have enough.
Yeah.
Let's order a couple party-sized pizzas, right? And we and every single time there's too much food.
Always too
and
much.
So when I went to see this house and I saw this, I was like, people do.
It's weird, yeah.
Like when you see portion control in the wild, you're like, I don't have experience with this. Like
I don't know what to do with myself.
And then I wonder, it's like, I don't know why I've never been thin. And then you just see that the way your family conducts itself is not typical.
I know, like my girlfriend's Filipino, and her mom just makes like way too much food. There'll be like just us, like just me coming over, the family. And there's only 4 of them, and there's like fucking racks of ribs, and there's just salmon.
Chicken adobo.
Yeah, adobo. It's just like, oh my god, pancit, and you're just like, this is insane. The whole table's filled with food. They say grace before every meal too.
Yeah.
Like, this is nuts.
Yeah, and this is not racist, but every time I went over to my Filipino roommate's house, it's like we always did karaoke.
Always karaoke.
I feel uncomfortable saying it, but it's just very true. Like I walked into his house for the first time and met his parents, and then he sang karaoke the entire night, and it was his birthday party that night, and I stayed up until 5:45 in the morning, drinking. What's their liquor? It's got a lower alcohol content, but they do shots of it. It's Filipino.
I don't know.
God, can you Google that for me? Can you Google that? Filipino liquor. It's like a big bottle.
They do. While he looks that up, they do a lot of karaoke.
Yes.
Did they have like a real karaoke machine or like a Filipino karaoke machine? Because it's very different.
I don't know. I was just there twice.
A video? Is it a coffee?
No. It's like a plain one. They do shots of it. But anyways, it kind of reminded me of soju. Might have been soju, but it was really, really cool because it's got a ginger taste. It's I think but whatever. I stayed up until 5:45 because around we were hanging out and he had friends over, and then it was young people hanging, and then around 12:15 his parents came home and his brother came home.
Yeah.
And his brother's he was 4 years older than me because he went to college and then he came to university and then we lived together because he was completing his degree, so the ages, that's how it worked out.
Nice.
And then after that, so his brother's 4 years older than him, so his brother at the time was probably in his early 30s, right? And then his dad's in his 60s, and they came home. And then I stayed up till 5:45 just taking shots and drinking with his brother and his dad because just slowly everyone started falling off, and then it was just getting to the point it's 5 in the morning, and we finished 3 bottles of this stuff, but it was such a low alcohol content. I want to say it was 15 or 16%, like like in a liquor.
Yeah.
So we could just did like every like probably 5 minutes we would just pour a round of shots and then like do one
Just
and
toss
then
them back.
and just toss them back and then it was just consistent all the way through, and then at the end of the night it's like just talking about life and nothing, and then telling stories, and
it's crazy too.
I don't know. I was training for this.
It's crazy to listen to like people's stories of like growing up in another country and then coming here and like how different it is, and like almost like how grateful they are to. It kind of makes you realize that you shouldn't take these kind of things for granted.
Yeah,
Once you hear like the hardships that some people had to go through just to get to here, and
it's
you're like, I was just fucking born here. Like, I don't know, like shit, I didn't realize.
Yeah. It's like that quote that I don't know if it's Joe Rogan's like quote or he just heard it somewhere and says it a lot, but it's there's all these issues that we come up with in our lives once it's too easy to get food. Like it like we are it is too easy for us to get food.
Yeah.
And so now we have
everything.
All of these issues.
Yeah,
like you have to find other. Like I don't think people had social anxiety.
No.
When they were
I don't
like.
even think our parents had social anxiety. They didn't have the time, right? They were
called,
raising kids.
It was called suck it up.
Yeah.
Like, I could definitely see like how you could have like I was an introvert for like most of my my like schooling, I guess up until even like when we met, we were grade 9, right? Like I was a little bit more introverted up until like grade 10 or so.
It's hard to recall.
Yeah, because I'm very different now. But yeah,
extroverted.
yes, I'm
I
a very
recently
different
saw
person.
some people from high school and they were like, "Whoa, hey, what's going on?" Like,
Yeah.
I was the quiet kid the whole time.
Yes.
You were asking about popularity. Like, I just stayed on. I had my core group of friends that were like, you know, we love Led Zeppelin, fucking Pink Floyd.
Oh, so you're a bit of an edgelord.
Yeah, well, not edgelord, but like we all like thought we wanted to like do music and like you know that kind of stuff.
What'd you play?
Just guitar, and then so we would all like jam together and like play video games and hang out, and loved comedy too, all of us. And then, but like for the rest of the school, I just was on good terms with everybody.
Right.
I just kind of stayed like, you know, just nice to everybody.
Yeah, you bro-nodded with everyone,
Yeah,
but you weren't that close to anyone outside your people.
Yeah, exactly. So it was good. And then like coming back, because one of my good friends from high school was getting married, and then just seeing everybody that I hadn't seen in like, I don't know, 10 years. They were just like, oh shit, like what, you know, what can happen in that amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I chose comedy.
Well, you like I think my personality really, I don't know if it changed or if I like blossomed or whatever. Right, and I talked about this before, so I apologize if you're a consistent listener. We're gonna go over it again. We got to when I got to.
This is my favorite part.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's gonna tell the thing about his fuck it moment. So I got to university, and like the day I moved in, like my parents like helped me move in, and then I was sitting there, like I finally got my mom to leave, and like took her half-hour crying to like, you know, give up her baby, right? But she finally left, and then I was sitting there alone before my roommate even moved in. I sat there for like 45 minutes just on my bed, just doing like verbal affirmations for myself. Like I don't know if I said them out loud or in my head, but I was sitting there and I was just like, so you're gonna make this experience different, right? Like you had a rough time in high school, you really didn't enjoy it, but you're gonna do something different. You're gonna challenge yourself. You're gonna come outside yourself. You're gonna say hi to everyone that interests you. Like you're gonna talk to every single girl that you find attractive, and then I was like I was just trying to prepare myself. It's like you're gonna experience rejection. You're gonna get no's. That's fine. Just keep moving forward, right? Like I tried to like release myself from all of like the fears or whatever, and like I think like right after that I just felt like a weight lifted or something, and
vocalizing things is huge.
That's it.
It's also negative though too. Like if you vocalize like I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah.
You no matter what you will always like.
Well, hate consumes yourself,
hate,
right?
Yeah. But if you're like vocalizing things to yourself or just in a conversation, it really like it's been proven that it like sets it afoot.
And it changes your mood. And the thing is that I find like, and I'm very much of a skeptic, and like oh, that's stupid, like in everything, but then I do it and it helps, right? Yeah. Like I was always like that way journaling, and then I had like a really low day where I was really sad, and I journaled, and then I felt better, that I was oh fuck, because I just said oh fuck because I was like, well, now this is part of my life. Like, now that I know this works, I have to do this.
I gotta be one of those guys.
But going back to the hate, like I think there's only like 3 people that I will carry like a despising feeling and hatred for, and my like 2 childhood bullies that like just like if I see them, I might sucker punch them like just because like you were, and one guy. He had glasses, he had a stutter, and then he bullied me. Like, and the only reason that I couldn't do anything back is because his cousins were the most popular people in their school, and fuck you, LK. And then another guy who was just a straight up asshole, and then the one that like I just have like disappointment and just I don't know if I could ever get over this feeling, because like I didn't do anything to deserve this, but it was a girl that I was really, really close friends with, and then she had a boyfriend. They broke up, and then the boyfriend was nicer to me, and she was giving me an ultimatum like, which one of of us are you gonna choose to be friends with? And I was like, well, he's not making me choose.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna make.
Yeah.
and then like we didn't talk, and I was like, God, like if that's the decision you want to make, I'm like. Great, like, because I didn't do anything to you, but then fast forward a couple of years later, my girlfriend at the time was in a class with this girl, and she spent every class, like, I found out about this afterwards, like, she spent, like, 4 consecutive weeks in class sitting next to my girlfriend, trying to convince her to break up with me.
Oh my god.
I don't do shit to her.
Yeah.
What, I was just because I'm nice to a guy that you used to date, like... And I didn't do any, and then like I found out about it because like I got into a fight with my girlfriend, and I'm like, where's like I didn't do anything right now. Where is this fight coming from? Like there's a lot of emotion. Like you're angry about me taking an hour to text back. Yeah. Where is this coming from right now?
Yeah.
And then you find out that it's like, okay, there's been I have an arch enemy that's been like plotting against me. Like. What am I, a comic book villain?
Take the brakes out of my car or something?
Yeah. And then it's like, and then it's funny. And the best part about it, like the next time I saw her, I passed her and I was just so fucking nice to her. Like I tried to be Machiavellian with this, and I was like, hey, how are you? Nice to see you.
Just kill with
but like a smile, but like deadness in the eyes.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Hi. It's nice to see you.
Nice to kill.
Yeah.
See you,
Nice to see you.
Yeah. Jesus.
And but yeah, I mean I know that's still like you can tell I'm still like emotional or have like a lot of feelings about that. Like and I know it doesn't matter. I should move on. Like it's just in my head.
Yeah, but it's still affecting your life.
But it's still like something like where it like up until we stopped talking, like we were really close friends, right? Like and Josh can speak. You can nod to the camera, right? We were really close, and like I really didn't do anything to deserve this, right? And so like it's just that where it's like if it was a consequence or if it was an outcome that it was like, okay, I did this, you did that, all right, right? There's just these things where people do shitty things to you, and you're just like, I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend of a friend that when I broke up with my ex, he asked her out like 3 times. Like and I thought we were good. I thought we were on a good we had met like 5 or 6 times. We hung out a couple times like and then when I had a conversation with my ex like for closure and all of that stuff like she mentioned it to me and I was just like, really? This is
Yeah.
And then and when she told me like the previous day I had seen him and given him a hug, and then like the
fucking clown.
And you know how much you must have a cock you feel like when you're like I hugged the guy that was trying to fuck me, right? Like
oh my god.
Oh man, I'm getting like that bombing cold sweat down my back as I say this. Like when you used to say things with emotion, you're just like, All right.
You're like, oh god, I can't.
Yeah. I was bringing it back on track.
Yeah.
I mean, by like wallowing in self-pity
Your
moment
fucking
there.
story.
Yeah, it was great. But what do you think is a skill that you use on a daily basis in your current, I guess, profession or career? Like as a YouTube host, like what do you think is the most important thing that, like, if you had to put a name to a skill that you think is like, this is what allows me to be successful at that?
That allows me to be successful?
Or like makes your life, like what you find important in your day? Is it time management? Is it like, you know, doing this kind of sort of writing, thinking about things in a certain way?
I think the idea of prioritizing what's important is become ever more apparent in my life. Like, not just in my work life, but in my life in general. Because I'm like of the many that try to just pile everything onto one plate.
Right.
And don't take into consideration that like some things need more time than others.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm just gonna turn this up a little bit. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, but prioritizing things for me has become like really. I've noticed it, especially when it comes to scripting, because I'll have to go back and forth between like the schedule. They have a schedule of when they need things uploaded by, so it really keeps you accountable for like getting something done in a certain amount of time, which is a skill that I wish I could just apply to my own life. Like I feel like. At work, I'm very efficient with getting things done by a deadline.
You're probably dispassionate about things like
yeah.
No, this takes priority over that. Whereas
yeah.
in your personal life, I guess there's emotion attached to things,
there's
right?
emotion attached to it. There's just like the idea of like, well, this is supposed to be my downtime from whatever,
right? From
work and everything else.
I don't want to build an IKEA cabinet right now.
Yeah. But like, well, even just I'm saying like put. Priority on my own things, like my own creative projects. Right. It's it's amazing that we can get up at like 5 a.m. for a job, but like if we needed to get up at 5 a.m. for some shit that we needed to do for ourselves, it's way harder.
Right.
Like we can be held accountable if it means
getting up at 5 a.m. for a run.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Working out in the morning.
And it's like that's just as important as, if not more important than the job. So I still have some ways to go with like bringing some of the skills that I've acquired from and things I've learned from this job into my personal life. Mm-hmm. But I'd say like priority, like making things a priority over others, definitely something that's
important. And I guess just over time, your barometer or like I guess whatever test you do in your head gets more like fine-tuned about like what is actually important or what should take priority. And then you just, I guess, pattern recognition and stuff, you just get to see that more often and be like, no, I should be focusing on this right now.
Yeah, and it's like just trying to, like, the idea of multitasking was just like pounded into our brains as kids. Like the multitasking is a skill and put multitasking in your resume.
You're just doing a lot of things quickly, shittily.
Yeah, you're just half-assing a
Although
lot of
I
stuff
I am the king of multitasking. That's you could also speak to this. It's how I got through university because I had a math degree and. Kids don't do this, but I skipped almost all of my lectures and taught myself everything from textbooks and got really good at doing math and learning math while watching Netflix.
There you go.
And watching all of Breaking Bad while teaching myself advanced calculus. You've seen me do it, right? Like you saw me do like study, and you're like, "That's how it happens. That's what you do." It's like I would have my laptop here. Uh-huh. And then I'd have my books and stuff and be sitting at my desk, and then I'd have my TV on, and then just like with Netflix or like How I Met Your Mother or Friends on in the background, and just going, and then I would just be like ha, and then X equals and then like just doing like crazy like linear algebra, dimensions, like all of this crazy shit like. Yeah, you probably don't know this. I have a degree in actuarial and financial mathematics. yeah, but you know me as a guy that tells dick jokes on stage, so.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing. Is like you have all this education and then you go through. It's like, then you find your passion. It's like, my passion is saying ridiculous things on stage.
I wish I found my passion before I went to school. Now I'm just in.
What do you educated
I took police foundations.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's why you have the mustache.
Yes, if you're wondering. For those of you at home. No, I have this.
I feel really good about that joke.
I have it because I'm sick and tired of looking like a child.
Yeah, well, you got that baby face, right? How old are you actually?
I'll be 28 on the 18th.
Jesus Christ, and I look older than you.
Yeah. People say it's good, but I don't see it.
I think it'll.
Ray's coming in. I'm gonna look like Reed Richards soon.
Fantastic Four. That's you can either go as Justin Trudeau as Aladdin or Reed Richards for Halloween this year. Felt good about that one too. You gotta put pain here or here.
Let's keep it to the hair.
Yeah, let's keep it to the hair. Yeah.
Yeah, I took that though, and just like I was an idiot and went away from home for school.
Right.
And
spent a pretty penny.
Accumulated all of this debt in order to live away from home and not work and focus on like what I was doing.
Right.
Mainly because of
getting
a girl.
Really good at keg stands.
I was mainly because partying and because I wanted to come up here because I had a girlfriend that was like living up in this area. So.
Oh wow! Did you also do the thing where you had a girlfriend from most university?
All through college.
Yeah.
And then we broke up when I graduated.
Don't do that.
Brutal. Don't do it.
Don't do that.
Telling you now, regret it.
Although I think she'll probably listen to this. Not saying that the relationship was bad.
She
She's
won't
like
it's
it's an issue of like it's it's just that like you meet someone, you get close to someone, and then you. Like, as a result of, like, having all these great times, you kind of, you accumulate great memories by having a girlfriend through university, but you also accumulate, like, this kind of cache, like, of things that you regret not doing.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And then, inevitably, most relationships end up ending, and then when you end the relationship, and you can speak to this, too, because you did a long one, eh? You did a long one that there was some regrets on, and I'll say I was a good friend, and he agrees with me. Like I think 2 years in or something, I was like, you gonna fucking hit the eject button, bro, and then like you would agree that like looking back, there's a parachute should have been pulled a little bit earlier. But when you get to the end, you've accumulated all these great memories.
Yeah.
But you also have this like stockpile of like. Look at all these things that I didn't do.
Look at these years I missed, yeah. But I'm happy I went to college because that's where I like was bold enough to try stand-up comedy.
So you've been doing that for that? I guess that would be.
That was
8 years.
So 2011 is when I first got on stage.
Wow.
I did it a few times. This was in Oshawa. I did it a few times in the city.
UOIT?
No, I went to Durham. Not even like the good school. So it was.
You know what they changed their name to, and one of my friends is very mad about this. They changed the University of Ontario Institute of Technology changed their name to Ontario Tech University, which just makes it sound like an internet college. Like, doesn't it just sound like? Doesn't it just sound like Ontario Tech University? Like, doesn't that sound like something with like that would have one of those cheesy commercials that you'd have to read?
So you're sitting around. Thinking, what am I going to do with my life? The Everest College commercials? You're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
I was waking up at 6 a.m. to go to Tim Hortons for the 5th day in a row, and then I was just like, something's got to change.
I got to go to OTU.
So now I'm at OTU, and I'm pursuing my dream.
Well, it's because everyone kept fucking up UOIT. They kept calling it U of T, and they're like, oh, let's see, the better one.
Yeah. Oh, MIT? No, UOIT.
UOIT.
Yeah.
Now all those diplomas are fucked. They got all the discredited. They're gonna look up UIT and be like, "This school doesn't exist."
Yeah. And I guess not now. Like, do they have to like just like
reprint
send out? Yeah, reprint them, send them out.
You gotta put a little piece of tape over it. Or something? No.
It's like until then, here's your complimentary masking tape.
Yeah. Just with the proper logo on it.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I wish there was a few relationships after college too that I should have hit the eject button on.
Yeah.
I remember like one only lasted a year, but like 6 months in, I was saying to my friend like, I don't know if this is gonna work out. And he goes, why don't you break up with her? I was like, yeah, let's see what happens. And then it was like another 6 months.
Let's spend another $800 for Christmas.
All right, well, that's not working. Jesus.
Yeah.
Plenty of those that we'll see. Hey, you live and you learn.
Yeah, that's it. And I luckily, like, I have a great dad that's got he's super supportive, and like he dads like my friends too. Like people will go to him for advice. Like one of my friends whose dad unfortunately passed away. Like he'll just call my dad like out of nowhere and just be like, hey, I need advice on this, whether it be work or personal life or whatever. And I think he does even better parenting other people than he does with me, because like there's no
detachment.
he has no stake in the company, right? He's not invested in it.
Yeah, that's
whereas
true.
like with me, like last week I had an interview, and like he was like, do you want me to help you prep your interview? And I was like, yeah. And then like regretted it as soon as we started, because it helps, but like he was we're very, very similar people, and that's like that. There's great things associated with that. I attribute my confidence, my ability to like network and talk to people, and my ability to tell stories and all of that, and then I attribute most of my sense of humor to my mom. But with my dad, it's like because we're so similar, like, and we're both alphas, so like as soon as like he wants to dominate the conversation, and so do I, and then you just end up butting heads, and then it's like, and then he interrupts me and I get indignant, and then I interrupt him and he gets even more angry, and then eventually it just comes to a shouting match, and then like after like 20 minutes we were both like, Mom, get in here! And then she just sort of sat there while we went over these things, and then as soon as it would get tense, like she would be like, all right,
like you're gonna have a mediator
everyone come down.
Interview.
Yeah, I get what both parties here are saying. However, we need to calm down. And the unfortunate part is like this is one of the things that I'm so embarrassed about myself, and like I don't think it'll ever change. It's like when I get really angry and upset, I cry. So like I tear up, and like I tear up, and like my and then so it's like, and then it's just I don't know, maybe I have easy tear ducts or something, but and then so like I've never been in a fist fight, but I think like if I ever got into one, I think my face would be scary enough, because like you imagine you're about to square up with someone and they're crying, you're just like, oh, this guy's gonna pull a knife, like this guy's gonna like this guy's gonna he'll kill himself and me, it's just it's not a good look. So I have incentive to de-escalate things like a lot, and I don't know, I think it's the fun part is that like now that I do this, and like I've really like nothing really embarrasses me much anymore. Like I think like I've set, I'm like anyone, you stand in the shower and you regret the thing you did 4 years ago, and you like just like beat yourself up for it every now and then, but I don't think like, so if I were to do anything today, I don't think I would be embarrassed for having done it, right?
I see
like,
what you mean.
I think that's going back to that, reaching your fuck it moment, or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't think there's any, like, I'll go places and I'll just dance in the middle of the dance floor. I'm not a great dancer.
Yeah,
I'm not a great dancer, but I just do it confidently, and like, and then when people and people are like, you look ridiculous, I'm like, I'm having a great time.
We're gonna be crying at puppy videos and
oh my god, yo guys, fast forward, we're just eating like skinny popcorn, drinking white wine, and talking about rosé. I felt so uncomfortable saying that.
Scrub that from the record.
Yeah,
I mean whiskey.
Yeah,
whiskey and holy shit.
Yeah. I like a lot of different alcohols, but I can't drink a lot of like mixed drinks because I'm allergic to fruits. So like I'm allergic to fruits? A lot of them. I'm allergic to like apples, peaches, kiwis.
Fucking revolver game to figure out.
Yeah, pears, kiwis. Like so, like I can't drink any nondescript juice. When you go places and there's juice in pitchers, I'm like, I can't, even if it's orange, I'm like, is it orange cocktail or is it orange juice? Like, because I can still eat citrus, so like, So now my drink of choice when I go out is like just a vodka soda with a couple of limes.
Hey, it's healthier for you.
Oh yeah, and I legit, knock on wood, I've never had a hangover.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm young, but like it's still like because I'm religious about my hydration when I go out. Like I won't, if I come home after I've been drinking, I won't let myself go to sleep until I've drank at least like 2 liters of water.
Jeez.
And like even if I'm up for another 40 minutes doing that, like I'll watch TV and just be like chug water, and then like because then you go to sleep, you wake up, you're like, oh my god, my mouth isn't like bone dry. Right
Yeah.
So it's good. It's been working so far.
I always we would always take activated charcoal. Pop a couple 4 of those before you go to bed. They give it to you when you have alcohol poisoning.
Right, when they pump your stomach and stuff.
So they give you activated charcoal. So if you just take that after like a heavy night of drinking, you kind of wake up like nothing really happened.
Yeah.
Kind of like a couple drinks.
Hey guys, look, we're dropping knowledge here.
Activated charcoal will save your hangover.
Yeah.
Although if you're 50, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be rough every time. Every time you drink hard.
So I asked you, I sent you a couple of questions before we started this, just asking like in terms of stand up because I wanted to like get like stories that you had thought over.
Yeah.
It's like I just want to hear because I think a lot of like a bunch of comedians actually listen to this, and thank you for listening. I appreciate that. And like I know them, so it's like, oh my god, you don't have to like you know me, you don't have to listen to my shit. Like,
you don't have to listen to more of me.
Yeah. You get enough of my blabbermouth in person. Because, like I said, I'm an alpha and I dominate conversation. So I just want to hear what your best kill or like when you killed the hardest and when you bombed the hardest.
I definitely have a bomb story, but kill the hardest. Oh, I know what the So I did it, and I have it on YouTube, so you can see it for yourself. It sucks too because I don't like.
Send me that link. I'll put it in the description. Then people.
I don't like putting like YouTube clips up per se unless I've like done all the shit that you were talking about, where you're putting in the. The captions and a good thumbnail, and it's no longer than 30 seconds to a minute, But I had to put it up there because I was like applying to a couple comedy festivals. And I need to see it.
Did you throw it up unlisted or public or? That's
the thing. I had it as private, and they reached out to me and were like, "Hey, a video can't be private; it has to be public." And I was like, "I gave you the private link. I don't understand why it has to be." But regardless,
I just keep all my stand up like clips unlisted. So then, like if I send you the link, like watch it. But otherwise, I'm like, I don't want to be searchable yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to burn material.
Exactly. I want to just like put it back to private. I think after a little bit, but maybe I'll leave it up because you're gonna share it.
That's up to you.
It was at the corner, and I had been doing sets there pretty regularly on the Wednesdays. JJ was kind enough to. Asked me to do like barking for there,
right?
And I just kept showing up, and I haven't been in a while because I've been out of town. I just got back, and I was doing 8 and 10 o'clock every single Wednesday. I was doing the 8 and doing the 10.
That's fucking amazing.
Just running the same added some new shit in, trying to move it around, but running the same stuff. And then just one night, I don't know what it was. It just like. I did a good riff right off the top that you won't really understand. That's why I don't like the videos because you don't really understand the context of what I'm riffing about.
Was it a callback to like someone else's
There was these 2 guys in the very front row that were like male models, like literally like perfectly symmetrical, like and everyone was commenting on it, right? Everyone was like this, blah blah blah.
And you're a pretty handsome dude, like so. Like, these guys must have been like angelic.
Put me to shame, dude. They put me to shame. These guys, holy shit. And but before I went on, these 2 kind of nerdier guys with glasses like came around and like sat beside them, and then I came on stage, and I guess they all kind of knew each other, the people around the front, so that was like really good because I had them all like this. But what I said to them was it's
like a feedback loop, right? If one of them laughs, they laugh at each other's laughs.
Exactly. So I looked at the guys and I said, I thought that you guys looked Photoshop. I believe that, but then when these guys came in, I was like, "Oh, they did the photoshopping." So and it just killed so hard. Their friends over here laughed. They were laughing. Everybody else was laughing at it because they'd been talking about it the whole night. And then everything after that just was like boom, boom, boom.
That's the thing.
Boom.
You gotta build that rapport. And I learned that in practice this past week, because I came up with this new bit that like is really really fun, like and it pops a lot now, like, because I figured out how to get through it. Like I did it on Saturday of this past week, and like that was the first time that it murdered. And then I did it Sunday, did really well again. And then I did it Monday, and it didn't pop. Right?
Because it didn't on a pop. Monday, bro.
No, and then I went back and I listened to it, and it's that I did, like, the other ones I was doing longer sets.
Yeah.
And I had the bit toward the end. Right?
Okay. So
and then on Monday I did it like as like the second thing I said. And then I listened back and I was like, oh, they weren't with me yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
I needed them on my side, and I needed to build that rapport.
It's a bit of a dirtier joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you need to have that, like, be like, oh, we're all friends now. Let's talk about this, right?
Yeah, that kind of unspoken language.
And like they have to be invested in it themselves in order 100%. For it to be. It's like they have to be complicit almost, right? And it's like if they don't laugh, then it's like you did this to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the ways I figured out how to make it pop better is that, like, I asked, before I get into the bit, I ask a question that gets them invested. And then like their answer to that question ends up being like a part of the premise. So then like they've already answered the question, so then like now I'm just like they said the answer now, and then afterwards I give them the question.
Okay.
And then they have to like, and then they're like, okay, now we've already answered this, so it's like we can't take it back.
Yeah.
And then so they're really on my side. Afterwards I'll show you, because it's like
them into a corner.
Yeah. I just kind of like shoehorn them. It's like. It's kind of like ambushing them, but I like that, because that's what I've learned recently. Is like having false premises is really fun.
Yeah.
Right. I had this
having stuff that you don't believe in at all, but trying to get them to like come to your side on it.
What I like, the one that I just came up with, which I don't mind burning, because it's just a silly premise.
Sure,
is that I said it on yesterday, and I said women are better than men. And then people are like, woo! And then I go, like, at some things. Like, and then they're like, what? And then everyone gets quiet. Like, everyone literally got quiet, because they was like, where's he going with this, right? And then I was like, for example, women are better at playing the video game Extreme Roller Coaster Tycoon 6. Right? I can't remember if that's the exact name, but like I said that, and then the people were like, what? And then I was like, because women have a connection to roller coasters that men never could. They just connect with the rides, and then people are like,
where's it going on?
And then it's like, because most women already talk like roller coasters. It's like, and then I do a whole act out and stuff, and then people are like, oh, okay, this is what, like, because and then it's like this, like, the false premise was like I talk about the video game, and people are like, oh, he's gonna talk about that has nothing to do with what the joke is, right? But it's just like it kind of like it kind of the hard left. I'm kind of learning that those really really work well into like getting more pop off of a joke. Because I think I'm just getting better at
everything.
Yeah, I think I'm just getting more attuned to like how to set the table.
Yeah.
Right?
It'll come with time too. Like I still have no idea like what the fuck I'm doing. Obviously, like I write shit down in a notebook and just hope that it turns out funny. And most of the times I write on stage. Honestly, like my girlfriend says that some of my best writing is shit that I just come up with in that moment.
So you just riff stuff, and then like you take it, and then
I have the ideas of what I want to go through. Like I do point form, just like topic ideas, and then I kind of like I'll try to have a joke within each one. But then if it's something new, I just kind of try to find the funny in it. Sometimes it's not there, and you have to just go, okay, put that on the shelf, come back to it another time. Yeah. Because there's bits that I wrote in my first year that I couldn't get off the ground, and now looking back years later, I can be like, oh, okay, now I know what to do with that bit. Right. Now I have the tools, you know? There's tons and tons of shit like that. The reason why that one set, though, for me was, like, one of my bigger kills, and, like, it's not even, like, about audience size, like, it was about laughs per minute for me. And then on top of that, I had Joe from the corner, who owns the corner, Joe Tachito. He came in like partway through my set, and you can hear him laughing on the recording, which I loved. I was like, this is great. Awesome. You know, even the owner's having a good time. Like, this is perfect, you know? That to me was a win. I could hear the bartender laugh. I could hear him laugh.
Oh man, when you make the staff
like,
laugh in
yeah,
a place,
that's
it's like because they see all of it.
So much,
right?
And they've seen the act over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then to laugh at the same joke, you're like, terrific. Yeah.
That's the hugest compliment I get from like my friends that I keep consistently dragging out to shows, and like I'm so thankful when they do come, and when they laugh.
Save them for competition.
Yeah. Well, I have one on Monday.
Seriously.
That I didn't get through because a couple of people have canceled on me.
That's why you save friends for competition.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I'm a head out.
But it was but like when I do a bit that like they were there like for a couple of my friends, like they were there when I came up with the joke, and then they saw like a video of me doing it, and then they came to see it in person. They laughed again.
It's
like oh my, like you guys are great. Like I hope I can do something for you that like allows me to support your dreams in that way. Like because like we can't do this shit by ourselves, right? Like
no, you need people
like after I killed
your
yesterday.
Are your first fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Really... And I killed yesterday, and then after the show, like I waited and I shook people's hands. I just literally like really earnestly, I was like, "Thank you for coming. Thank you. Like I needed this. Thank you. Like and before I left, the people that didn't even walk out, I just went to their tables and I was like, "Thank you. Like I just from the bottom of my heart, because like it's just I couldn't have this feeling that I have right now like without you being there, right?
It's a different thing. Like I wish that everyone could feel like what it feels like to kill.
And the next like you're good for like the next like few days.
It gets you through.
All of the chatter in your head just disappears.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and then on the way home yesterday, it was 2.5 hour drive back.
I was like, oh yeah. By the way, I'm not saying I kill often. When I said that
no,
but it's not often. No. But like when you do, it's a powerful fucking drug.
Oh man, and I had to like, and the guy that I went with, he's a bit of an asshole because he didn't even drive me all the way home. He dropped me on a bus. To take like a bus for 25 minutes afterwards too, and even though it would have cost him 10 extra minutes just to drop me at home. Anyways, but like when I got up, when I was like waiting for the bus, I wasn't even that mad. I was kind of upset with him, but just in general, I was like, I'm still having a great time. Like, and I was sitting on the bus, didn't listen to anything, just sat there in my own thoughts, and I was just like, it's a good day. It's 2 a.m. I'm on a bus. On the TTC, driving in the dark, and I was like, I'm having a phenomenal time. Like, nothing can rain on my parade. Like, today I went for a walk, and, like, I didn't bring an umbrella, and it started to rain a little hard, and then, like, usually I'd be like, oh, fuck, right? And then I was just like, oh, it's a nice day. It kind of cools you down a little bit. Like, literally nothing can rain on my parade.
Not even fucking rain.
Not even fucking rain, yeah. Oh, my gosh. And now, after that, when did you bomb?
Oh, God. In the worst way possible. A buddy of mine booked a lot of... He worked for a charity and he booked a lot. He used to be like a music promoter. Booked a lot of really cool shows. Knew a lot of like... He had me open for the cast of Letterkenny when they were doing like live shows in Ottawa for their fundraiser. And then he had set up a Kenny versus Spenny show.
Oh, I used to love that show.
So they were performing in Oshawa.
Saw Spenny live. Huge letdown.
Oh, for sure. I was like...
Huge letdown.
Okay, this is ridiculous. Let me tell you
Kenny needs to be here.
100%. That guy is a fucking downer, man.
Yeah.
So, of course, like...
And he was hosting Dirty Bingo at my university. And, like, he was just there. It's like, and you win a dildo. And I was just like, all right, this is depressing.
Yeah. Those guys are like, you know, they're doing what they can to make money, I guess, just being themselves. But, like, when you see, like, when you brand yourself as something and you develop a fan base for it, like, you gotta be careful because that could become, like, your whole thing. Like, look at the Trailer Park boys and, like, Trailer Park guys because they're older now.
Yeah.
The Trailer Park guys... that's their whole thing. Like, they gotta show up and be these characters, you know? Like
Trailer Park Hospice.
Yeah, essentially. The Trailer Park Seniors. Like,
yeah,
it's, like, it's good and bad, I guess. Like, it's good because you don't have to work a regular job, but bad. So, these, like, I'm there to open for the show. Another comic, Trevor Brown, is opening. He opens for me and then brings me right on. And there's probably, like, I want to say... 350, like 400 people.
Wow.
Just in this kind of standing room. They're standing for the show in a theater, whatever, in this music hall. 400 people standing. And Trevor does okay. He does pretty good. They're like, because most people are getting their beer and they're like, oh, this guy's going to entertain us till they get here and whatever. But he does like 10 minutes. By the time he gets off, I come on stage. And Trevor is like a dirtier comic. I would say dirtier comic.
Yeah.
So he kind of fit like there. He's from Oshawa. He kind of like was able to.
Oh, this is in Oshawa.
This is Oshawa. So picture like 400 Kenny versus Penny fans in Oshawa crammed into a room.
Oh.
Yeah. Picture that for a second.
Guys, I love, if you're listening for
I love
Oshawa,
you, Oshawa.
I love doing shows at Oshawa, but
not
400
of
you?
That's fucked. So he like does his thing, does well, gets off stage.
I'm nervous right now.
I'm like freaking out backstage. Like I'm like having a full blown panic attack. Like just because I could hear, the crowd is not silent. You know what I mean? They're not I can't hear just laughter or just clapping. I just hear chatter. Just like 400 people like talking, and then Trevor like announces me, brings me out, and I come out, and not a fucking person's paying attention. Everyone's looking at each other. They're all looking around. They're all having a blast. They're doing shots like craziness.
That's what you do, I'm a man.
You do what?
I have a bit where I scream. Loudly and aggressively. And it's probably what, like a minute and a half?
Yeah.
A minute and a half or 2 minutes of just me screaming.
Oh my god.
It gets, every time I do it, it get like the reason it's like I'm kind of embarrassed about it is like it gets a laugh every time. It works every time. And yet it hurts my throat.
Okay.
It makes my throat tickle. Yeah. I actually figured out a way to do it like without screaming. It doesn't pop quite as much, but it still works. Is like instead of screaming, I'm like I recently got into slam poetry. And then I just do it like I'm a slam poet, and like the first couple lines are like, I am a man, I am strong, I lift weights, I bench press 1 plate, terra pectoral, out for 6 months, and like it's just, and then I just increasingly say things like I keep saying like I'm a man, but then I say less and less manly things as I go, and then it's just like my conviction is what's funny because like I'm a, kind of like a scary looking like face like when I like with my eyes wide and look angry it kind of like throws you off, and then so like just the combination of me talking about like saying the things I'm saying in the tone I'm saying it like is just it's ridiculous.
You're
right?
like a Latin gangster.
Yeah, I literally said that to him today. I was wearing I'll show you. I was wearing this fucking jacket that I bought
just the
at Costco. and I with this hair, I was walking. I was like, I look like a Mexican gangster. Like I do. And it's funny.
Like, hey, Carlos, leave me in the freezer. You work at Walmart.
Like that's me. That's me as a Mexican gangster doing longshore fishing. It was like crack an egg in my beer in the morning.
Cocaine. Off the coast. So I go out there and I do the whole, hey, how you guys doing? They're all going, they all see me now and they're all going nuts.
Yeah.
I've got maybe the front 2 rows of people standing,
Call
paying
it 60.
attention.
Yeah.
Call it 60 people. Just standing and smiling and fucking holding their beer and just nodding and shit. And I'm doing the jokes, and it's a weird thing because I've never experienced this before, where it takes time for it to reach the back of the room almost. Yeah. So I'd like hit a punchline and then I'd have to like pause because I could feel it like get a laugh at the very back. Like it took like an extra second. I don't know what it is.
It's kind of like when you do like a pot show. You ever have that? It's it's a real education in how to do your timing because it's like you'll have people that are sober and they get the laugh and they laugh immediately, and then you have people that are like so baked that they might not even be conscious, and then they also laugh at it. But like the first time I did it, like I would say a punchline and then I'd be like halfway through the setup of the next joke.
Hear laugh.
And then just hear like, but not like a small laugh. It would just be like, and then they interrupt the show. It's like, you hear what he said? And then it's like, it's such a weird thing.
Yeah,
it's like...
It's brutal like that. And
but you learn something from it.
Oh, yeah. And I realized how to kind of dig myself out of this hole, but nothing was working. Like, it was just, like, nodding, tiny little spurts of laughter. Like, it sucked the soul out of me. And then I have this whole, like, bit about taking my dog to the dog park when she was a puppy. And I made the mistake, never do this, comedians, of trying to set up a joke via a question to a large audience of being like, does anyone here have a dog? Expecting just like clap. It wasn't. Everyone was like, woo, I do. And then someone was like, you have a dog? No way, I have a dog. And they would just turn and start having a full-on conversation to each other. How long have you had your dog for?
Oh.
What kind of breed is it?
Yeah.
Like,
you can ask a question, but you have to be specific.
Yeah.
You, sir, do you have a dog?
It's got to be specific.
Yeah.
You cannot just put it out to the ether. And so that kind of fucked up my timing there, and I had to wait for that to end. And the only way I knew that because they were a Kenny versus Spenny crowd, I could get away with some like cruder shit.
Yeah.
And there's a part of that bit where I use the microphone as my dick, and I bang it against the mic stand.
Yeah.
Just like a dog was humping me.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. A dog starts humping me. So I'm like banging this thing.
Yeah.
And I just kept going. I didn't even like want to continue doing jokes. I just kept doing this.
Yeah.
Just humping this mic stand. And it was killing. And then I felt like shitty for doing that. Like,
you felt like a cop out. Yeah.
Easy cop out of a way to get out of this.
Yeah. It's a little hacky, but but I like with all of the things you said about that story, I would have done the same thing.
I was like, I need to pull myself
like
out of
in that situation, like even if you're a cleaner comic, you just go like, we're gonna talk about dicks now.
Yeah.
Because like everyone seems to enjoy when people talk about dicks on stage.
But here's how you know it was a bad set. After Kenny and Spenny do their whole debacle, I had people coming up to me, not saying like, hey, great set, man. They were like, hey, that was really brave of you. That was brave. They're like, I wouldn't have done that. Yeah. They're like, this crowd is insane. Like, they were like, the people that were in the front row, like, also could see what I was dealing with. Yes. And I was verbalizing it too, like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing over there? Like, just calling people out. Yeah. Because I'm like, come on, like, fucking pay attention here.
It's nice, like, when you find, like, audience members that get on your side. Like, have you ever done Hardwood Blues in Ajax?
Sounds familiar.
It's a bar show. It's on Sunday nights, but they let you do like 10 to 15 minute sets and stuff. Nice. But like I go out there because like there's a couple regulars that there's a few regulars that come there every weekend, and like and when I go there, like they're all like attentive, like, but it's a rowdy crowd, so it's regulars and they're there. It's on Sundays, so some of them are watching football and they don't really want to listen. And like one of the biggest compliments I've gotten from an audience is like when I went there this last time, like one of the regulars, like when I got on stage, there were people being rowdy, and then I was like, all right guys, quiet down. And then this one guy, like this one like big black dude, was just like, yo, shut the fuck up. And he was like, I want to hear what this guy has to say. And I was there, and I was like, I tried not to show up, and I was just like, oh my god. He's talking about me. I totally became like a girl like getting complimented. I was like, for me?
Is that for me? Oh,
that's so nice. And then I had like a good set because I was just like, I was like confident. I was like, this guy this scary looking dude was like, he wants to hear what my jokes are. And then it's like, cause I guess he saw me a few times, and like every time I guess I made him laugh, and it was just like. And like those are like the little things, like what we were talking about earlier, just doing stuff for the love of the game, like like that's like a tiny little thing that happened, but it's like that gives me like that fills me up, right?
Yeah. I did so much of this stuff just for the love of the game early on. Like when I lived in Brockville and still wanted to do comedy, I had to drive like an hour to Kingston, or like an hour to Ottawa, 2 hours to Montreal, 4 hours to Toronto, just to do mics. Just to work on shit. Because, like, what am I going to do? Work on it in my fucking bathroom? Like, you need, like, a real audience feedback.
And I guess 8 years ago, that's before podcasts get big. So, like, what were you doing in the car? You just, like, playlists?
Music, just music. Road trips were always fun with buddies because they would ask me to, like, recite, like, certain stand-up bits because I knew I was, like, such a student of comedy before I started even doing comedy that, like, I would rewatch.
Hey, do Chris Rock's Black Guys N-Word joke.
Yeah. Well, so just as boys, do it.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
No, I do like Dane Cook, Lewis Black, like George Carlin stuff. I really loved, and
Wow.
like, some Robin Williams things were always fun. But yeah, it was just mainly talking shit. Yeah, basically.
That's the quickest. I got that from Pete Holmes. I listened to his podcast. He's like he has like, this is my quickest Robin Williams impression.
It's pretty great.
So inside comedy, like
So
like
great,
for people that don't know him, but it's
his show, he did like this whole sketch parody about the X-Men, and he played like Professor
oh yes. It's
So
like
good.
when he fires people, it's like
amazing.
What was that?
Nightcrawler, yeah.
Nightcrawler. So you can only go to places where you can see. Or I've been before, yes. And it was Thomas Middleditch.
Yeah.
He's like, and then he says like those three fingers.
Yeah, just says this.
Have you watched the outtakes?
No.
Oh my god! If you want to go down a rabbit hole of like videos,
I gotta
search
do
up
that.
those
I love
outtakes, because the
those.
outtakes are so funny because like he says even more ridiculous things because that's what makes you break, is when you say things that like, and those are the like. Now that I do comedy, like watching a sitcom isn't as fun for me, but watching like bloopers of a sitcom, that's great for me, right? Because I think what it goes back to is like, it goes more silly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, as you understand, look, I'll just speak for myself. As I understand comedy more, it's harder for me to laugh at things.
Yeah.
Right? Because I kind of see behind the curtain, and then. I mean, this is a positive, but it's also a negative. Like, I see punchlines like fucking miles away now.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as someone's starting a setup, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the punchline, right? And it's like, and then the horse did that. Yeah, all right, it's like, see, and so like, I was worried when I went to go see Tom Segura in August, and I went to see him at the Sony Center or whatever the fuck they're calling it now, I went to see him, and I was like, I was worried that I wouldn't be able to enjoy the show just as a show. Like, I was worried that I would just be, like, watching it and analyzing it all the way through. So I took measures and I got really drunk.
Nice.
And then I had a great time.
I just I only ever not enjoy watching comedy when I'm on the show. I can't. Can't watch.
I can't watch other people's
before
sets,
me,
man. Yeah.
I can't watch people after me. It just, like, completely fucks with me the whole time. Doesn't have anything to do with those people. It's just, like... I'm so trying to.
We've met each other like 6
Yeah.
or 7 times. I've seen you on stage maybe once.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch the other people.
Yeah.
And then that's
you're so focused on getting your own shit out that it's like and it's totally understandable. Lots of people feel that way too.
I will watch people, like sometimes I'll watch people that are on after me. Like especially like if we're friends and stuff. But I actually not just if they're friends. Like if friends ask me to like watch it and be like, what do you think of this bit? Like, and then I'll watch it and then I'll watch it like critically, right? And then it's like, do you want my honest feedback? Because it might hurt your feelings. Like right, but it's hard because it's I think Chappelle said it in his most recent special, his like epilogue thing where he did that Q&A.
Yeah.
He was like he's like, I don't watch a lot of other comedians because it's like watching someone else fuck your wife.
Yeah.
He was like, you can do that better. Like I can do better than that, right? It's like so it's just
That's one of my favorite jokes.
Yeah. And it's just such
do it better.
That's just such a throwaway line. Like he just came with that on the spot. It's like
space too. And like, man, I can do it better.
Yeah, but I'm so like wary of joke thievery that like when I'm on a show and I see someone hit their knee with the mic, I'm like, you want to do Chappelle right now?
Yeah, this guy doing
I was on a I apologize to this guy if he watches this because he might, but I was on this show and it was at someone's apartment and then they streamed it live on Twitch, right?
Okay.
So I had a great time and on the show, and then so the weird thing was that there's 5 of us that are like open micers grinding, like we all do it several times a week and we've been at it for like at least like at this point 11 months or longer, right?
Yeah.
And so and then there was 9 or 10 people on the show, each doing like 5 to 7 minutes or something, and everyone else, it was either their second time or like first time on stage,
Shit.
right? At this thing.
Okay.
And then this isn't a bomb story, but this is one of the most uncomfortable I've ever been at a show. Is that there was no green room for the comedians, so we were just like standing just off camera to the left of who was performing, right? So. And so the people that were in the room, like that were in the apartment, like watching the show, they could see all of us, right? And then we had to like just stand there and listen to, because he shaved, like the guy was pretty smart at least. He put one of us that with our experience like at the top to start the show, and then he put like everyone else, and then like four of us to end the show, right? So it had a strong ending. But in the middle, it was very difficult to just sit there and be like, listen to people, and then it's just like,
you get anxiety just hearing that.
And then you're hearing like hack bits, and then you get angry when the people laugh at it.
Yeah.
You're just like,
that's the craziest thing. And then it's angry at people laughing.
Yeah, it's like you're lying, and then you're like, and then you hear them do like a parody of someone else's bit, like, and because they're new, they don't know, maybe they're not educated, they don't know that someone else's bit, like parallel thinking or whatever it is. But
people steal. It's
and then
happened.
One guy was literally doing Louis C.K. Like he was doing like his persona, you know, like where he touches the face, and then it was like, and then it's like, oh, and then you have to come around the car, and then you're just like, you're getting on the road to, and then he was doing his cadence and everything, and then I was just looking at people, I'm like, this guy's doing Louis C.K.
Sometimes
and then at one point he laughed at his own thing and hit the mic on his leg, and I was just like, all right, pick a lane.
Louis C. Chappelle.
Yeah, and then it was just, oh man, I'm doing another one.
That would be very funny
in Hamilton
to steal two famous comics material and just merge them together, but call yourself like a mix of their name too. Just make it very apparent, you know, just like as a one-off. I think that would be a fun idea for a show. Is we all like have to do like one of our favorite comedians. They have to be dead.
I have
like you act as them, you dress as them, you do their whole like Halloween, a Halloween show where you're like, this is George Carlin coming out, and you have to do the whole thing like almost word for word, as close as you can get it, same kind of cadence.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Really fun.
Yeah, we should hit up like Comedy Bar or something, see if they do that.
Let's talk about it. We'll make plans off mic.
That'd be pretty cool.
I also have an idea for a show that like maybe we can do this as like as well, because I have this idea. I want to call it a set list. And so what it is so each of us we write down our like the jokes we're gonna do, like write out our set list, but just in like you have to do it in like 3 words or less, like just the name of your bit.
Okay.
Right. And then, so, like, for example, like, I'm a man, right? Like, that would be it. And then it's like, you do 3 or 4 of them, enough for, like, 7 minutes. And then when you get to the show, you have to trade with someone. And then, so, everyone goes on stage twice in the night.
Okay.
So, off the top, you trade with someone that you haven't really seen that much on stage before. Like, and so it would be hard to schedule, like, so people that don't really know each other.
Yeah.
And then you have to take each other's set list and then go up, and you don't get to look at it before. You just get to go up on stage and then look at your set list, and then like, this is my first joke, this is my second joke.
I would let them look at it, just stew on it.
Yeah, just to, and then
like, what the
and then so like, and then I also probably do it with like an A/B thing where you have like a screen, and then the name of the bit comes up or something like that, right? And then the fun part is like everyone does a set like that, and then everyone gets to come back up and do their actual material.
Oh, okay.
So then you get to see, it's like, is the thing they came up with in the moment better than the thing I've written?
Yeah.
And then it would be like, you have to get comedians that don't have like fragile egos and stuff. But like,
sure.
But I think it's like a really fun. It would like, it's just different, right?
Yeah.
And then I think it would be like a learning experience, because it forces you to be in the moment and crowd work and all of that.
Take a couple of words too.
Yeah.
And it'd be funny if they do like.
If you eat shit, it's great.
But it's funny if they hit like a similar note to what the joke actually is. That would be insane to like catch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then like I think the hope, like what I'm just personally trying to do when I write new bits and stuff is like, I want to write things that no one else can do. but like that also challenges me. Like I want to be like so original and like so, and I'm not like a topical. Like I'm more observational and silly, and like I don't do politics and stuff. So like my goal is like when I first like do an album, like looking forward into the future, like. I want like all of those jokes to still like work in 50 years. Like I want like I just want like maybe like a couple of the references might not make sense, but just the premises I want them to be so universal that like everyone can laugh at them because that's and then
I think a trap that many people fall into as well is the city that they start in. They have too many city related jokes.
Yeah.
Like if you have a lot of jokes with the subway, chances are it's not going to work in rural Ontario. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to go to Kingston.
Yeah, I have one subway joke and then like like you're saying like one of the things is like and then it's like you have to have such good balance that when they take that turn into Union, you don't even flinch. And right? Like that is such a niche like Toronto joke that like no one else
if you've experienced that you get the joke. Yeah. For sure, yeah.
And then so but those are the like I'm trying to think in like a more global manner, and the thing is like I listen to so many like successful comedians podcasts that like I just try and take all of the things that they do that make them successful and like you know repurpose them for myself. Some of them I can't like do because like they're talking about advice like you know when you're performing in a club every single night like you need to do this thing. It's like all right no like I barely like maybe once every 2 weeks I get into a club for like a good set like. So it's like just trying to like put all these things together and trying to take and just educate myself and like
and you're gonna find your own path too, right? Like everyone, that's the unique thing about stand up is everyone has their own way of like making it or getting through, or, you know. And to follow one person in particular, it's you know you gotta have a Bruce Lee kind of mentality where you adopt the best of everyone and do what's best for you at the end of the day.
Oh, I did have one question about going back to the YouTube things. Like, what do you see any conversion between like their audience and then people that come to follow you and then end up coming to shows?
A lot of their audience is U.S. based.
Okay.
Not a lot of people in Canada or Toronto even specifically. I think that run-in at Comic-Con, they even said they were from out of town. They had to come in. So I haven't even had anything that wise. I did shows at Zany's in Chicago, and I had a couple of people that lived in Chicago that were fans of the show, and I showed some interest and wanted to come out. Did 6 days in LA, and there was people out in Los Angeles that lived there and fans of the show and you know wanted to meet up and like hang out. Had one guy tell me to come over to his house and his wife would cook me dinner and all that shit. Oh, it was insane.
Yeah.
I didn't go because it's fucking weird, but I was like,
is this gonna be a
cuckolding
situation?
You know, like, I'm sorry, I don't know you.
I think cook you dinner is a euphemism for something.
Yeah. It was nice. It was a nice gesture, but at the end of it was really far, and I was like, you know, what am I gonna,
All right. Well, we're coming up toward the end here because we're doing an hour and 40, and I think we can. I'll ask my last couple of questions, and I'll get you the hell out of here and like wrap up your day. So I have a couple of questions that I've kind of put together over the time I've been doing this, where it's short, but like that I kind of put a nice button on the end of this.
Sure.
So the first one is. Say you like morbidly, but say you died like tomorrow. What's one thing you could say that you've done in your life that has left the world a better place?
Left the world a better place.
Might be in a personal sense, like you did this for a certain person, or just in general. Everyone's had a really different answer, so there's no right category that we're talking about.
Well, I think ever since like wanting to become a comedian and having that kind of like fuck it moment, I'm very adamant when I talk to anybody really about what like people will tell me what they do and I'm like, that's great, like that's what you do to pay rent, but like what are you passionate about? I think if we ask more people what they're passionate about, you're gonna see like a change in a lot of people. Like I'll run into people that I've had that kind of that long conversation with over the course of a few years later, and they're just like, man, like ever since then I started thinking about things differently. Right. Like a good friend of mine from high school was like felt like he was wasting his life away until we had like a good heart to heart on like doing, like you have to do shit, man. Like you can't just like keep living the same, getting out of the wheel, So I think just like it wouldn't be like this massive thing on the global scale that I left behind, but I think there's a small group of people that I had good conversations with that'll last with them.
Well, I think that's my personal philosophy is like I appreciate everyone that tries to start these global initiatives and post statuses about things. But like the thing that I believe is like if we all just kind of made sure we optimize the way we act in our own circle and our own sphere of influence, like just by additive properties, like just picture a huge Venn diagram that keeps overlapping. Like if we all just try and like make sure when we overlap with other people, it's a positive experience.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The whole world would be a better place.
Try
like,
to do that as much as possible.
And for personally, like one thing, like if I die tomorrow, like I'll probably have like a bunch of. Every time I ask this, I'll share like a little thing. But like I'll just say like with my group of high school friends, like I haven't let us like drift apart. Like 1 minute. That's my nonna. But like the thing is that like I haven't let us drift apart. Like you know, we all went to different schools and like did different things, and yet every time we're in the area together, we make a point of hanging out, right? Yeah, and it's very easy to drift apart as like life gets in the way, but like you have to be intentional about spending time with people if you care about them. Yeah. And that's like I think one positive thing I could say. Like that's me optimizing my sphere of influence.
That's something that I need to do actually more often. Like my girlfriend was like, "You don't have any friends." I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Well, you gained one here today.
I was hanging out with so-and-so.
Heart filter.
The Instagram heart filter.
Yeah.
I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Super Zoom or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I was like, "I hung out with so-and-so at that show." She's like, "Yeah, you were both there to do comedy. You weren't hanging out." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I started to confuse the two.
Right. Well, like, you could. It's hard to. They might be acquaintances.
Yeah.
Right. And they might not be. Friends.
And you take it as like friendship because you're just kind to each other. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I need to do
cordial.
More of that.
You know, but. Yeah, that's
definitely.
That's
I think following up is a good thing too.
And it's like it takes effort, right?
Yeah.
And like it takes and the hard part is like I mean, it kind of feeds into my own like ego and personality. But a lot of my friends are indecisive. It's like, what do you guys want to do? And then it's like people are like, oh, I don't know. And then like eventually I just like fucking give up, and I'm just like, okay, we're going here at this time on this date. We're doing this. And then it's like, does anyone have a problem with that? Yeah. And then people are like, no. And it's like, all right, so that's what we're doing, right? Like that's what ends up happening. It's like, okay, we're gonna go to Silver City, Richmond Hill at Highway 7. We're gonna go see the movie at 9 o'clock. We'll meet for 7. We'll grab some dinner across the street, and then we'll go see the movie. And then maybe afterwards we can go back to my place, hang out, play some Catan. Does that sound good? Yeah. All right.
Yeah. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Who's not down for Catan?
Yeah. I fucking love Catan.
Catan's the shit.
So much fun. Well, see, now we built a friendship, and we'll play some Catan soon.
Fucking down for that.
And so my final question, this is probably my favorite one, is so you know when you have like a favorite movie and you rewatch it like a few like you know like over and over again, and every time you watch it you catch a new detail. I just want you to tell me about a day in your life that's that for you. So if you could wake up tomorrow and you could just get to relive that day again, you don't get to change anything, you don't get to do anything differently, you just get to re-experience it as though it's the first time, but then on the other end, you would still have the knowledge, you would have a second run through it to catch different things. So I call it, like, what's your best day?
Like your kind of Groundhog Day?
Yeah, like, so I'll tell you mine. It's like, it's my 19th birthday, and it's, I had it on December 27th, so my birthday is December 9th, but just, I was in university, so it was exam time, so we had to push my birthday until right after Christmas. So like we said earlier, like, it ended up being a visiting for all of, like, the extended family. There was, like, 45, 50 people there. Almost everyone that I care about in the world was in the same 4 walls.
Nice.
And then so the party started at 5 o'clock. We went until like 2 in the morning. We played poker. I won that game. Like, it was a great night all around. Like, we had appetizers, we had dinner, we had dessert, we had second dinner, we had drinks. I think we even did a scotch tasting or something at some point in that night. And it was incredible. And like, my girlfriend at the time was there, and it was just everything, like, in that moment, talking Bruce Lee or Zen and stuff. It's like everything in that moment made sense in the world, and I would love to be able to go back to like re-experience that and just be in that kind of feeling of like warmth and togetherness.
And it wasn't like an amazing day all the way through. I was getting yelled at for most of the day by my mom about cleaning the house because we have people coming over, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But all of that stress fed into it's like you need to bomb in order to kill, right? That was all of it in the day.
Yeah. I've got 2, and they're kind of like on the same trip.
Sounds great. And
things
this isn't a hard and fast answer.
No, my girlfriend and I landed we went to Thailand together. We met separately, so she went ahead of time to Singapore to see some family,
right.
And then I flew in from China, and then went from China over to Thailand, and then we were just gonna meet each other in Thailand at the airport, and then go spend I think a week or 2 weeks there. And on the first night, she really wanted to go to this place called Moon Bar Hotel, and literally it's 80 floors. You go up to the very top, and the full moon is right there, and it's a full restaurant on top of this roof, super fancy. Wow. But everything's in baht, that's their currency,
yeah.
And it's crazy cheap, insanely cheap. When you do the conversion, you're just okay, Jesus Christ. So we had a great meal on there, and then we go down. We were leaving, and as we're going downstairs, we see this jazz bar, a floor down, on the 80th floor, which is just nuts. It's all glass in this building. You can see the skyline and all the different buildings there, and there's just this band on stage playing some cool jazz. We chilled, and I drank Johnny Walker Blue, which is just so expensive, and insane, and
it's $500 a bottle.
It's just smooth, and it just I think it cost me $5 or something for a glass. You know what I mean?
And for conversion, for people that don't drink, I think by the glass, you're probably looking at $30 to $36
for
here.
sure. Yeah, and maybe more than $10, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just embellishing it, but
yeah,
that was amazing. And then another day we wanted to go to. This is probably the time that I would relive over and over again. We went to this place called Pattaya, which is just 2 hours from Bangkok. So we had to take a bus the whole way there. That part kind of sucked, just on this rickety old bus.
That's the bomb part,
yeah. And then as soon as we got there and got tickets, because it was on an island. It was on an island just a little bit away from it. We took this speedboat all the way to the island, just no safety,
Yeah.
There wasn't
life jacket.
There's your life jackets in case you need it. The guy was everybody on, bah! Just took off. The boat's straight up in the air. We're just holy shit, holding on to things.
Yeah.
This girl's screaming, and you get there and just there's no docks. He just pulls up and he goes, all right, I'll come back at the end of the day. We're okay. We just get off the boat and walk through the water. And then we're just on this beach, and there's all these people greeting us as we're coming in, greeting all the tourists and shit. And then there's a guy with a scooter, and we wanted to go to the other side of the island because there was a cool part on the other side. And the guy's I can get you there faster. You can walk all the way around. It's gonna take you all day. And I'm okay, cool. The 2 of us get on this guy's scooter. There's 3 people on a little motor-powered scooter.
Luckily, your girlfriend's Filipino.
Insane, yes. She's tight in the middle. I'm on the back, holding on for fucking dear life.
Yeah, and you're her backrest, right?
Yeah.
So you have all of the weight.
And I have no backrest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just holding on to the side of this thing, and there's this pathway.
I've ridden on the back of a Sea-Doo.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's the
I hate it because I am such a. You were there for that. I am such a control freak.
Yeah.
I am such a control freak. I can't being out of control and be someone else, especially at high speeds, and I don't trust my friends
when they lean
driving.
for the corner too. You're supposed to lean with them. Yeah. I sit up straight. They're fucking lean. We're gonna tip over.
Yeah.
I don't even do. But it's mountains, right?
I'm sweating right now.
It's a giant island with a beach all around it and mountains in the middle with Buddhist temples and all this stuff all over the place poking out of the trees.
Yeah.
And there's this tiny little broken cobblestone trail all the way up the mountain and then down the other side, and he's just just going so fast with both of us, just taking turns. And my adrenaline is I've never felt so much adrenaline spike in my life. I'm gonna die, and there's a sunset in front. You know what I mean? I'm gonna die with a sunset in Thailand. Cool. And then we get to the other side, and it's all kind of oh, okay, we got here safe, right? Yeah. And then we just kind of chilled on a beach. They had a restaurant on a beach, and the guy brought me over beer. We ate fresh seafood that they literally just caught. It was cracking open crabs with a stick, and wild dogs playing, but they were cool. They weren't gonna kill you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they were just beach dogs, like chilling on the side.
They had that chill made.
Yeah, and
know?
I could relive that like extreme adrenaline, almost about to die, and then to complete relaxation. Like I could do that over and over again.
Yeah.
Because just that difference, just that nice like change, just beautiful.
Well, I mean, if you say you'd gone the other way and you had walked all the way around, you'd got to that same beautiful spot. You would have it would have been nice, but like you might have gotten there and then you would have been like, oh, I'm tired from that walk, and then you wouldn't have been able to appreciate things as much, right? So like you don't know like which decisions like go what way.
Yeah.
Like, so that's something I really
so many
appreciate.
times too where a scooter would come around the path, like come around the corner, and just barely miss them. Just barely miss them.
Reminds me of driving in Italy. Oh my god. All of the switchback things. And this is the crazy part is like we don't really use our high beams here unless we're angry. It's like in Europe like you need them because like they'll be driving up mountains or like and hills and stuff, and it's literally like you'll go and then you literally have to stop almost to dead zero because it's such a hairpin turn, right?
Oh shit!
And it's and then there's no street lights. It's at night, so what you have to do is when you're coming to these turns, you got to flick your high beams like 18 times before because that's how you tell someone that. You know, like you have those mirrors in stores when you come around corners. It's that version. Like you just have to like be like, don't kill me, and then you take the turn. Jesus. And then when like sometimes like you'll be doing that, and then you still like almost fucking hit a car going around the corner, and it's just like, and then I like I said, I'm a control freak, so like. And my dad wasn't driving, and I get it from him. Yeah. So like we're both just fucking white knuckling it while our cousin's driving. It's just.
No thanks.
Yeah. Well, we're an hour 55, so
cool.
This has been awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks.
This has been awesome. What you plug anything you need to socials and all of that stuff.
It's at the Johnny Rogers, pretty much on everything.
Awesome. Well, it'll be in the description too. So
you can click that there too. Pothead Gamers, who's another show I do. We just smoke weed and play video games.
Love Beyond.
For sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
I talk to the co-host, and we gotta get more guests on. He's not very like he's not like trying to be an entertainment personality, so I'm trying to get him used to like this new hosting aspect. You
gotta maybe just have to pitch it as like a marketing thing. It's just like if you want to keep doing this, like you bring people on, like people enjoy it, right? And like I think for me, I was thinking about doing like a solo podcast, which I am like I'm in the process of recording them. I'm gonna call it like It's Nippy Outside. It's where I just go walk around and just record myself talking. It's basically like chronicling my descent into madness type of thing, you know. But like that's why I wanted to like I like having a guest because it's less work. Right?
It is.
And also, I just like talking to people. You know, like you just.
I feel you, man. That's why
diffusion of responsibility.
I feel like I'm looking into the past of when I did this same thing.
Yeah.
Same Yeti mic.
Yeah. It's a good one, man. It's
Like
I mean, for what you're getting and stuff. Yeah. I mean, once I get a job that can sustain me financially, maybe I'll get a second one, and then I can get the arms and stuff, and like add add some like production quality to this. But until then, this works great.
100%, yeah.
Well, thanks again for doing it.
Thanks,
and let's talk like humans now. Let's stop performing.
I had to pee so bad.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Do I go in the middle of this or just hold?